Okay, you're on, Jorge.
All right, thank you, sir. And yes, I appreciate this space to talk, first of all, and thank you. Yeah, and I really enjoy all the Zooms, and I've been watching them and all that stuff. And I'm glad to be here. I was just wondering, I know this is maybe something off topic or not, but I was just wondering, since you have a background in psychology, um, regarding marital affairs, like what would be your suggestion for someone who perhaps has been with someone who has been unfaithful in a marriage, you know? Um, I know maybe that's something for a psychologist or something, but maybe off topic, but I just wanted to mention that, you know.
Okay. I'd like you to rephrase the question, if you will, in more personal terms. I assume you're one of the parties to this marriage, so just say what happened.
Yeah, basically, what happened to me was that my wife has been unfaithful on, and I have evidence of this, and it's something that I know happened. And even though I have decided to continue in the marriage for my children, even though some people say that I'm not in the marriage for my children, that I could be outside of the marriage to have myself more peace, because being with someone like that, you never really know. Have security with someone who does that, you know, and stuff like that. So that's why basically my question to you is, can someone like that can a marriage like that have a chance? Can that be, can trust be reestablished? Can to that effect would be my question. Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak as a psychologist because I can't do psychotherapy here. If we were going to do that, I would need a few hours with you. We would be talking about a lot of things which we can't do here. So I'm just going to answer your question human to human, not doctor to patient, if that's okay.
Okay.
If I were in that situation where I became aware that my partner was sexually unfaithful to me,
yeah,
I would want to know if it happened once or twice or 500 times, and if it has stopped or is continuing, and if that person intends to not do that anymore or feels that that's just what
happened. Sorry to interrupt. It happened like over a couple of, like, a period of 6 months, where my wife was doing that, and now she even though she hasn't admitted to it, she has, because she hasn't, but she's been acting and you know, basically it looks like her intentions are not to repeat that kind of behavior, but it was over a period of 6 months for various times. Yeah.
Okay, but so are you saying that you have a commitment from her that she intends not to repeat that behavior?
Yeah, like basically, I've told her her behavior has to, her whereabouts and stuff like that, like where she goes and all that stuff. It's been restricted a lot, so we have a lot more trust in between us. So right now, she's been complying with that, you know, not going out all the time by herself and stuff like that without letting me know. That kind of stuff. She's been complying recently, but she hasn't admitted to it, you know. So there's not really. So it's kind of like, it's kind of funny right there, you know.
Oh, you're saying she hasn't admitted that she's done this? You just have
Right.
your suspicions and your evidence, but you've never. You've never spoken with her?
Exactly. Exactly. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
well, okay. That puts a completely different, uh, light on the situation.
Yes, sir.
The only thing to do in this case, I'm not once again, not speaking as a psychotherapist, I'm speaking to you man to man.
Right.
If it were my wife, I would have a come to Jesus meeting. You know what? Do you know that phrase? A come to Jesus meeting?
Right.
It means we're putting all the cards on the motherfucking table.
Yeah.
Yes? You've been out
Yeah.
fucking some other guy. What's the deal? You have to do that. You must.
Yeah.
And whatever happens afterwards about your children and the rest of your sex life, and that has to be what it is. But if you live a lie with another human being, you will go and
Right.
see, the two of you will become mad together. That's what happens. You flip out.
Right. I understand, and I did put the cards on the table, like you said, and I went to a psychologist, and I
Yeah,
put those on the table and everything,
yeah.
and but she just denied everything, like totally everything was denial. So I mean, but she accepted basically my conditions. It's just basically she just denied everything, you know?
Well,
And I put divorce on the table, you know. So that's really probably why she hasn't, but she hasn't been complying, because that she knows about that.
well, you
You know.
see, this is so complicated, and that's why I say we can't really do psychotherapy here, so I'll have to cut it short.
Okay.
But you
I
really
think.
need to.
Yeah.
There's no alternative. You need to come to a truthful place in a marriage. Otherwise, if you are not, the two of you will go mad together.
Right.
You'll end up hating each other. And you don't want to be this old married guy who's married to some woman who hates him, or he hates her.
Exactly.
So you have to, in other words, your wife has to be your friend. Now,
Yeah.
if she had sex with some other guy and you can forgive that, that's okay. That's not my business. I can't make a decision like that. But the only way to forgive it is the cards on the table first. You look at all the cards together, and then you ask questions of her. Do you think you're going to need to do this again? Do you still love me? Questions like that. See, that has to happen.
Right.
That has to happen. Yes.
I thank you very much.
It's my
Appreciate it.
por nada, Jorge. Te deseo todo lo mejor en esta vida, ¿verdad?
Muy agradecido por eso, entonces.
Claro que sí.
Okay.
Okay, so who are we dealing with next? Thank you, Jorge. Thank you. You're very honest. That was actually beautiful. And I'm sorry for your pain. I should have said that. I'm saying it now.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey.
Robert, it's Göran from Sweden. Can you hear me?
Okay, Danny, I saw you there for a moment. Let's give Goran the floor, and then you will be next, if that's okay. Can you hang in there, Danny? You have time?
Yeah, sure. No
Okay.
problem.
Goran, you have the floor.
Perfect, thank you. Robert, you mentioned in the bathtub interview that people who has awakened, they could, how did you put it? Like the ego comes back with full force again after awakening. Do you remember that?
Of course. Oh, you really caught that. That's a very subtle point. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. Can you explain it for everyone? Give your understanding.
What I understand that when you awaken, awaken to, what do you say, reality, but somehow the ego comes back with full force, and you get easily, how did you put it, like hypnotized again? Would you say it like that?
Yes. Okay. Well, there's this great Paul Simon tune. It's called "Slip Sliding Away." I don't know. We're really worth listening to that. He says, "Slip sliding away, slip sliding away. The closer your destination, the more you slip sliding away. The closer your destination, the harder it is. It's like the dragons get more fierce the closer you get to the actual surrender, let's call it. I hate the word on this because then people make some kind of project out of it, but it's not a project. It's something you notice right now. But what happens is, yes, you have an initial understanding or initial vision or seeing. Like, let's say I have the vision, I'm not making my thoughts. There's no thinker. These thoughts are just arising. There's nobody producing any of this. My feelings, I'm not producing these longings and these fears. They're just bubbling up from like a volcano. The lava just keeps flowing. I'm not doing anything about it. It's just, and I'm part of that. And this thing I call myself is part of that. And this mind that I think I have, I don't have it. That's all of this is that mind. It's all just one atomic eruption, okay? So suppose I have that happening. 5 minutes later, I might be saying to myself, well, now I know truth. I'm really cool now. See, I had my awakening. Now I can just be groovy. I no more problems. Life, everything, it's all solved now. There won't be any more old age, illness, and death. That's for other people. I've got the truth, the deathless truth, the timeless truth. I will never die, and all the rest of that. That's what I call self-hypnosis. Yeah, to answer your question, Goran, that's what I call self-hypnosis. And it's sad because you have taken an insight that's really valuable. It's a great thing if that happens to someone. It's a beautiful afternoon. You just drop some acid and suddenly, wow, I get it. This is really cool, see? And then you come back down off of that, and now you're like a hipster. I dropped acid, man. Now I know the secrets of the universe, and I'll tell you what they are. You see, this is how you kill yourself. And the fortunate thing for a guy like me and others like me, see, all the lobsters are trying to crawl out of the pot. Of course they are. Everyone wants to get out of the boiling water. The boiling water being depression, anxiety, fear. You know, we all want to escape physical pain. We all want to escape from that. And all the lobsters are trying to get out of the pot. And they've got different paths and different methods of trying to climb out of the pot. But see, that's not what it takes. It doesn't take a method. It takes abject humility. You have to be totally humiliated before you before you can live with this truth, the so-called truth. The truth is you're not doing anything. You never have, and you're never going to. This is all just here, including my mind, my body that I didn't make, my ideas that I don't know where they come from. I call them mine because they're coming out of my mouth. I'm not making any of this. I can't take credit for it. And I don't take the blame either. See, and that's what I mean when I say I'm awake. It's really simple. The lobster in the pot image is, I see a lot of the lobsters and they almost get to the top rung and they get their claw out of the bucket. But just as they're getting to that point, they take on an identity. I'm saved. They put themselves in a frame. whatever the frame is. I'm the guru. I'm saved. I'm the wise one. I'm the author of a best-selling novel. Whatever they do with themselves. And then they just slip right, because that's what the boiling water is. All those feelings of vanity. That's what the boiling water is. And the people who have made it out of the pot, and see, I'm willing to say I've made it out of that pot. I'm willing to say that, and that's what I'm taking on. The taking on of being the glib one who gets to voice what we already all really know. See, we already know this, we all do, but it's been buried over by this indoctrination that we're subjected to as children. And that's the initial hypnosis. Your parents and the culture around you hypnotize you. They give you a whole value system that may be completely awry. Probably is, a lot of it anyway. And then you live that. You start living that. Then you get some doubts. We all do. Is this really all there is? This is what this is life? Isn't there some more beautiful thing here? And, you know, if you can get beyond it, my lady's quints and everything, and understand that you're not going to feel good just by consuming more beautiful things. That won't, you're still going to be left with these doubts and fears, and there's still going to be old age, illness, and death. So this indulgence of pleasure and escapism, you see through it. Maybe you get too old, and that happens to a lot of people. I wish I could get it up and everything, but I can't, so now sex really doesn't matter. See, no. See, if you can get to this earlier, then you can climb out of the pot. But no one can make you feel that way. And that's why I'm down on the spiritual teaching. I don't believe in spiritual teaching. I think it's mostly nonsense. No one can teach you what to desire and not desire. They can put desires in your head, but that's what was done in the initial hypnotic trance. So now you're just going to get a new hypnotizer, but the process will be the same, Goran. And that's what that paragraph that was very clever of you to pick up on that, because that's a very subtle point. It really is. There's a lot of very advanced people, and they're not going to make it out of the pot. I can see they aren't, because they still want that recognition. They just want it. Mm. But the thing that wants the recognition is the boiling water that you're trying to get out of.
Yeah,
you get that, right? So
yeah, really good.
Something or someone has to humiliate you. It could be illness. Like, take my friend Joan Tollefson. I was hoping she'd make it to the meeting, but she didn't. Well, Joan has just gone through a hideous cancer with a lot of treatment and terrible pain. And it makes this thing that I'm dealing with here, it's very minor league. Well, so Joan and I write back and forth. So God, she's clear after the chemotherapy and the surgery and the weeks of lying around in pain. She's so clear. See? Well, does that mean I want to get cancer so that I could be clear like that? I don't think so. And that's what I say to the people who want to be clear like Robert. I can't really recommend it. Not what I went through. I'm not sorry that I went through it. I don't mean that. And this is what I said in the Bat Gap interview. Was that you, Danny, who was saying at the Bat Gap interview? Yeah. That's what I was trying to say in the Bat Gap interview. If you don't suffer, you will never know. If you think this life is great and Jesus is waiting at the end and all you have to do is follow the rules. That's fine. Nothing wrong with it, but you'll never know. That's the hypnotic trance. And that's what humans want to do. They want to remain in the hypnotic trance, and they'll do anything they can to remain in that trance. Anything. And one of the ways of remaining in that trance is to repeat the truth, capital T, truth, again and again. Because all hypnotists know this, and psychologists know it too. This is a truth, a fact. It's a fact of the human mind. The more something is repeated, and the more you hear it repeated or repeat it yourself, the easier it is to believe it and not doubt it. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. There's this guy called Jesus, see? And he was crucified. Why? Because he was the Son of God. And God was so sorry that we human beings were fucking everything up so much. Instead of explaining the matter to us, as he might have done, he said, nah, that's too simple. I think I'll just kill my kid and make them feel sorry about it for the next 10 centuries. And Jesus loves you, though. See, and then by the time you're a grown-up child, you may spend your entire life believing that horse shit. It's bullshit. That's the bullshit. Now, I'm not saying that there's no God. I'm not saying that nothing is sacred. I'm not saying that there wasn't this wonderful wise man 2,000 years ago. There may have been. I don't know that. But suppose there was. Suppose the Buddha really existed. Okay, great. The thing is that has nothing to do with your life. That was their life. You can hear about it. You can hear about it, but you have to find the ground of your own being, is what I'm saying. Not repeat a hypnotic script and think that you're getting somewhere by doing that. You aren't. Well, that was a rant. Okay. You have any further questions, Goran?
No, thank you, Robert, and thank you, Bo and John, also for doing. You are doing this for fun and for free, and it's really great. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Goran. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to ask John Troy to jump in here now, because this theme, and Danny, I know you're still there, but just to keep this in, I see you. Just to keep this in order. See, this is something where John and I have a deep agreement. And the thing that's wonderful about having such a deep agreement with another person is our backgrounds are really very, very different. They're different backgrounds. Our indoctrinations are highly different. I know that. And the lives we've lived have been very different. And yet, here we are, these two guys, and John could have said most of the things that I just said, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to give you the floor, John.